Media Network proudly presents It's All Love, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern, with Laura Mock, Maria Hartman, Wendy Ann, and Lara Brzezinski. It's All Love, a space where we open into the heart, tap into the soul's deep wisdom, and enter into the energy of love, truth, presence, and joy. It's All Love, Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Mountain Time, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to It's All Love, a sacred community where we open our hearts and align to the vibration of love, heart to heart, soul to soul. This is our premiere episode here on New Thought Media Network, and we're so excited to be here and so excited that you're joining us for this first issue. And joining me today is Laura, Maria, and Wendy. And just wanted to share a little quick intro about what the show's about, where it came from, before we dive in. And it started from a simple and mutually inspired conversation about how connection, community, and aligning to the frequency of love can not only heal, but create an expansiveness of consciousness and creativity. And so as we step in this together, we invite you into this community, this frequency of love, presence, truth, and joy. So I'm our host today, getting us kicked off. My name is Lara Brzezinski, and I'm a transformational life coach. I offer programs and packages to help women tap into the truth of who they are and bring out that joy that is already within, and bringing that out into the world. And so my word that I align with is joy, obviously. And what that means to me, what that feeling, that frequency is just filling myself with a peace and an overwhelming happiness. It feels like awe and wonder for all of life. And I just feel amazing when I am filled with joy. And I love just radiating that out and inviting people to have that feeling, that frequency, that vibration within themselves. So Laura, would you like to introduce yourself and share with us what the frequency of love is to you?
Sure. So thank you so much for having us all together finally, and we're really excited. I am Laura Mock. I am in my little cabin in the woods, which I love so much because I'm a different type of counselor. I'm a spiritual counselor, which focuses on self-empowerment, mindfulness, and I look at it as my job to reflect the truth, the love, back to who people really are until they remember it for themselves. I do not believe any of us are individual gurus. I believe the guru lives inside of each of us, and I love helping people say yes to their soul's wisdom and to know who they truly are. And so when I think about the frequency of love, and I'm excited for everyone to hear how these words and these things came to us, as of course we're all these things, but I recognize, especially through my connection with these ladies, that love is at the center of all of us. And when I think about the frequency of love, a few mentors of mine reminded us recently of how to word that through another name for God, another name for divine. And it's a frequency that dwells in us. It's born with you. It is your birthright. And it is the space within that has no opposites. And that's what a mentor recently said, and I loved it, and I have borrowed it all week long, because we have emotions of love, and then we have the frequency of love. And the frequency love has no opposites. It is God, it's the divine, it's the universe, it is the tree, it is you. And so I'm excited to explore that more with you because it's something that I needed to explore for myself. And I think that's why it's close to my heart, because it's something I needed to know as well. So, Miss Maria, our truth teller.
Well, hi, Maria. I'm an energy practitioner or intuitive energy practitioner, and I am a sound bath facilitator, among many other things, teacher, um, all sorts of stuff. But I guess the idea of the frequency of truth um, wasn't always natural for me, I would say. I would say that I was a very shy child. And as I grew older, I definitely, um, I censored. I censored myself all the time. And I have found over the years that that was something that so many people do and struggle with. And so as I've grown older and wiser, um, I have just started to really connect with the idea of the vibration of truth as a frequency, but it's also tied with love. It is tied with love and compassion and understanding and empathy. And truth to me feels like the divine knowing, the truth of who we really are, not just my own personal truth or your own personal truth in that moment. I mean, truth as in what have we forgotten, and how can I gently and lovingly remind you of that truth when you're forgetting it or not seeing it. That's my mission. Wendy.
I'm Wendy, and I am a creative writer, an artist, noticer, fairy house builder, just anything creative, anything connected with nature. I just love it all, and those are the mediums for me that bring me into present. And present is the frequency that I feel speaks through me the most, even though, like we've all said, we all carry all of them within us and we all express them in our own unique ways. But how it filters through each of us is different because we're all different. And so for me, presence means everything. I know what it is to not be in presence and what that feels like. And so these creative mediums for me are ways to bring me back into myself and co-create with spirit, with community, with other people, with myself, with my inner child, just anything that I can do to help people connect to their presence is why I'm here and why I'm here tonight. So I'm honored to be here with these other three ladies and everybody else who's watching, and really excited to see where we all end up together.
Yes, fabulous. So I hope you're catching on as you're listening that we're just here to have conversation, help create a community, and invite you to look at how all of these aspects are already within you, and yet, as we've each acknowledged, we have something that really is coming forth through us, and so maybe sometimes we forget to bring the other aspects in, or or whatever. So anyway, at the beginning of each session, we're going to have one of us will lead a guided meditation to assist us in opening our heart center. And when we enter into the energy of love, truth, presence, magic happens. It allows us to tap into our authentic selves, listen to our soul's wisdom, and then from there, allow that inner wisdom to guide the conversation. So that's how we're going to start. And then from there, we'll let the conversation unfold. So, Laura, would you start us off today with our meditation?
Yes, and the thing that I want to say out loud before we begin is you are welcome to join and just close your eyes and be with us in this. It is the intention every time I do this. But previous, I used to prepare a lot. And when I began to get out of my own way and trust everything we just talked about, all four of us begin to trust the inner knowingness and knowing that we're a part of one collective, really. And what does that really mean and look like? When I began to get out of my way, and I think all of us here on this Zoom, this call can relate, is that's when this truth, this divine knowingness began to come out. And so what the intention is every time one of us does this, it's not prepared, because the idea is to be in presence, to trust the truth to come through, know that the love carries it, and we will always find the joy. And we are the joy. It's the kind of result of all of those things. And so this is very organic, and part of that is to know that you also have this inside of you, and it's very freeing. So to invite you at whatever you want to do, if you want to lay down with your eyes open, with your eyes closed, there's no wrong way. And I know some people are like, let me just listen and see what these ladies are doing, really. Let me just listen and make sure I even want to close my eyes and join this. So, of course, we build trust and community over time and space, and we understand that as well. So, but those that are ready and welcome, I invite you just to take a moment and to center into yourself. And I keep my eyes closed just to begin, because I can sometimes see and feel things easier that way. But you're welcome to do whatever. And so we're just going to take a time, and I'm going to give myself the permission to connect to this greater collective, our oneness of love through our hearts, and taking a deep breath in. And wherever you are, wherever this finds you, live today or you're watching this later, know that there's no time and space, really. So we're all really connected right now. And the words that come through me are the words of all of our soul's wisdoms. It's the collective truly. And so as we breathe in, I would like for you to imagine yourself as a beautiful tree. This tree that comes directly to your mind. Go into that inner child that Wendy talked about. What comes into your imagination first, let that be you, your tree of wisdom, your tree of inner wisdom. It may be small, it may be huge, you may see only part of it, you may see any little leaves or needles. It is perfect. But imagine yourself as that little child in this tree that you see. You enter inside. It is becoming you. You are one with this tree. And again, using that imagination, that child that knows so much, feel the cocoon of the tree nurturing and holding you. Know that this tree knows who you are, sees you in all of your beauty, in and out. And for a moment, take that deep breath, and just for a moment, if it's only just for a moment, to literally feel that hug and know that this tree is divine in you. It is you. And the tree is saying, your truth, you are love. You are loved. Breathe this in. You are enough. Not even enough is not the right word even. You are all. And for just a moment, even if it has to be your imagination for right now, imagine that is truth. You are love, and you are loved. And I invite you in this tree, if you would like, to put your hands on your heart. Feel the beating within the pulse, the sap going through the tree. Feel the gratitude that you are here right now. And allow that love and the gratitude that you are you go all the way down through the roots of the tree and to the sacred earth. And then allow all of that beautiful energy, the wisdom that is who you are, to come up through you, cross over again through your heart, and then up through the limbs and the leaves and the needles. We ask that you see yourself in all of your beauty. We ask that you see yourself as the divine, as the most loving entity, energy that you can imagine seeing you. I love you. You are loved. You matter. And your presence, your sheer presence, the breath of you is a gift to all of us. And now just allow yourself to know that anytime you can go right back to this tree if you need to remember and to feel. And the more you practice, the more you'll remember. And with great gratitude and humility and so much love, I welcome you back into this space with us as we continue this conversation of love, truth, presence, and joy. And so it is. Taking that deep breath, maybe even stretching a little bit. Whew.
Yeah. Wow.
I always love seeing what's happening, but just lots of love, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone, individuals.
That was beautiful. Whew.
I know. Yeah, it makes me want to cry.
Well, I love the image of the tree. And Laura, and Maria and Wendy, we've all had this conversation about how we each are a complete tree as ourselves. If we draw the analogy of the tree, that it doesn't matter what size an oak tree is as it comes out of the ground, it's an oak tree. And it's in the process of expanding and growing, and so are we. That I love now calling myself a Lara tree. That I'm a Lara.
There probably is one somewhere. I know the laurel.
Yeah, close.
But yes, I agree.
We each are perfect, whole, and complete at whatever stage of life we are, whatever experience we're growing through, going through. And that it's like that just gave me the, like, oh, I'm okay. So when you said, we are enough, that it's not even
not even that
in the vocabulary anymore. It's like, no, I'm a whole tree. I'm a perfect tree at this age, day, size, with all my experiences. And you're a perfect Laura tree, and you're a perfect Maria tree, and you're a perfect Wendy tree. And like, wow, if we all could just, grab onto that and let go of any judgment that anything needs to be any different, it's so freeing. So,
yeah. We have talked a lot, and Maria, go ahead. I was thinking about the rings.
No, go ahead. Yes, no, you talk about the rings. Perfect.
You talk about the rings, sister.
No.
Were you going to say something about that?
Well, I was going to say, I love that. I'm terrible at quotes. I mean, terrible at quotes. So if you guys know where this, but I've heard of the, like your wholeness or your whole divine self is contained in that seed. Like the seed already has the idea of the sapling, the idea of the full grown tree, the idea of, and it's all contained in that. And I absolutely love that image just because it doesn't matter at what stage of growth you are in, you're already completely exactly the way that you're meant to be. I love that. But it's not my saying, so.
I thought it was
Nice
there
of you
for
to remind us of it, though.
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, it's like that taproot. Like, and Wendy, what's the tree that we talked about a long time ago? It's a certain type of tree, and we should probably say, I know you can tell by my accent that I'm Southern. So let me make that clear, and I hope you can understand me. But Wendy, Marie, and I are living in North Carolina, and they're from, you can tell from their accent, somewhere else, and of course Laura's in Colorado. So the three of us are here, but we come from a lot of different places too. So this tree may be native to here, but Wendy, it's the one that has a star in the middle. That's the seed.
Oh, the
that's
cottonwood.
Which tree is that?
The cottonwood.
The cottonwood.
Yeah.
Do you remember some of that experience that you had with the cottonwood tree when you realized that?
Yeah, it's actually a tree. There's one that grows around the corner from me, and when I go for a walk, sometimes I'll see it. And the leaves are large and heart-shaped. And when spring comes, it releases these little white, almost like dandelion wishes into the air. And if you take one of the branches and you break it, it is a star shape on the inside. And so it has all these incredible shapes and geometry within it. And just sometimes I'll just go around the corner and I'll just stand under it if there's a little bit of a breeze, and you stand under it. The leaves are applauding because they're almost like little palms, just clapping together. I was reading recently Robin Wall Kimmerer's book about the trees.
Wait, what book was that? Can you repeat that again? What book?
I was recently reading Robin Wall Kimmerer's book about braiding sweetgrass, and she has a chapter that talks about trees, and you can tell when I say about that I'm Canadian. You'll just hear it in my accent. I'm really self-conscious of it, but I'll try not to be.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
I love
With
it.
these trees, in her native Potawatomi language, there's different verbs and qualifiers, and with trees, in their language, it is being tree. So the trees are viewed as a being, and that is it's built into their language that enables them to see the sacredness of all life, because it's not a tree, it is being tree. So it is a tree being. And so I try to think of that whenever I see a tree. It's being oak, it's being maple, it's being cottonwood. It's just that extra little layer of connection to what you see outside. Even you're being more, you're being real, you're being more. It for me, who speaks a lot about presence, it really landed with me, just seeing them as being themselves.
And how that translates into even a cottonwood. There's no two cottonwood trees that are the same. There's no two trees that are the same, and that's us. And at each tree, but then there's families of trees. Right. There's almost like tribes of trees that have similar, roots, and they come from, but it all goes back to one. And I think that, I just think so much of the wisdom that is here for us. It's all about the trees to me, and how we are that, and how the metaphors, do seem fairy-like, and Wendy and I love us some fairies, but how it's more than that. Is actually like the wisdom is right in front of us. It's around us, and when you just walk outside, and you just feel like, for me now, all this tree understanding, and the rings of the tree, and the taproot, and how it is who we are too, and it's here trying to show us this. And the more we tune in to ourselves as no tree out there is not saying it's not enough, and granted, I know I may be stretching metaphor here, and I understand, but again, where there's a lot, there's a lot of suffering. Like, I think I may be taking us off the rail. You take me back if you need be anywhere. But I said before the epidemic was low self-worth. The epidemic was living in the forgetting our frequencies of all the things we're talking about, and not giving ourselves permission to even know what those are, and it being lost. And so, I think a lot of this is returning to self. And I mean, think about what Wendy was talking about. Like, the idea of this perfect seed. The seed is always there. It's always perfect. It's always part of the tree. Even when the tree falls over, like it goes back into the earth. It's all one. And can you imagine if we begin, especially as children, or go back into our inner self, our inner child? Can you imagine? Can we just imagine if we look at ourselves as that complete seed? We are complete. We are whole. We are enough. More than enough. We're everything. In your wisdom and my wisdom, and it can be unique, but there's a universal truth in that. Can you imagine how we walk around the earth feeling?
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll be quiet. It's just something,
Yeah.
it's just fascinating to me.
That's the great forgetting. It seems like that's the great, I wouldn't say plague, because I think we all, I don't know, I think it's necessary to be able to really, really tap into the joy of rediscovering your worth and your beauty and just inherent worth, your inherent beauty, your inherent gifts that everybody has, but that rediscovering is what makes it so incredibly amazing and so incredibly beautiful, I think. Yeah.
Well, and what I've realized in the later part of my life is that I was trying to live into expectations of out there, do that, succeed here, achieve here, right? It was all outside. But when we take this metaphor, it's coming from within of, wait, I am here to express me. I'm here to discover what lights me up, what brings me joy, what are my gifts. And it's really coming from the inside expressing out, where I feel like most of my life I was taking outside and trying to figure it out, like put it in. And it's so freeing to be like, wait, I'm just here to let me out. I'm not trying to fit in anybody's box. I remember as a teenager that there was a TV program, right? Square Pegs.
Yeah.
That they said, but the concept of trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, instead of just get rid of that whole game, right? There's no hole that you're trying to fit into.
Right.
It's
Right.
you expressing the you-ness that you are outward. And wow, what a beautiful forest we have of all these different trees expressing their treeness.
And I think that is the cure to anxiety. I mean, I'm going to stay in my lane, in the spiritual mindfulness lane. So I'm going to stay in my lane. I know my lane. So, but I'm going to say that in the midst of that lane is like, and to give everyone grace. We're taught by those that are also taught. We're also taught fear and lack and limit, and the achievement in who you are out here. That is what we're taught. And again, I don't believe it's this, sinister thing all the time. I think it's just everyone does the best they can with what they know. But I remember when, and again, let me say this too, the purpose of what we're here to, the audience, all of us, the community that the four of us have, I mean, we can have real conversations. So if I catch myself, I mean, there's this, if like, this is what Maria's great at too. I think we all can do this well. This is what Maria does. I'm going to out Maria right now. The first broadcast is over. It's happening. So if I'm having this really great conversation, but let's say something's hard, like I've hit a hard point, my feelings, but something's going on, and I will say something. If if I am finding my worth outside of myself, if I'm catching myself going to an old habit, or I've been triggered, or there's something new is coming up to heal, whatever it is, Maria, if you're sitting in the room with her, and everyone needs to have this. Let's also say Maria and I have emotionally safe connection. Like, I know she loves me, and I know that there's no competition there. There's no jealousy there. There's true sister love there. So let me make that clear, that I believe in that emotional safety and connection. We have created that together, and that is really what we're intending to do for all of us here too. You all watching and listening. With that said, I'm like, and Wendy, y'all, everybody's laughing because we all know what it looks like, and I usually roll my eyes at her, but she'll go, mm, mm, and she's a vibration, energy, sound. She does a lot of things, and she's getting ready to say, "Is that really true?"
Yeah.
And she can say to me, right, Maria, you'll catch it if if I'm putting my worth somewhere outside of me, or I'm doubting my own self, or I'm doubting my own wisdom, or I'm frankly judging something that it's none of my business. You know what I mean? Like, I'm outside of my own truth. And it's not a bad that we all experienced it, but I believe part of what this community is that we're doing is to be honest with each other about our own stuff, but also invite you all in too and say, it's okay. We're not judging you. We have unconditional love and non-judgment for you. And you've got your worth out here. So Maria, do you have a thought about that real quick? Because you have a lot of examples from that from me.
Let's clarify that I do that, but also it has been done to me lovingly. I mean,
but did you not grow from it? That's why you do it.
Absolutely. And I appreciate it, because I think it's really easy to see that in somebody else. It's really easy to see it when somebody else is forgetting their truth and forgetting their worth, or is standing in judgment of themselves or somebody else or whatever. It's easy to know, it's easy to identify that in somebody else. What I think is the most challenging, and what I personally have been working on, like, this entire year has just been boom, this event and this thing has come up. It's recognizing my own judgments, and I mean, is it true? Like, seeing the event that has happened in my life and saying, well, is it true? And really, really diving in and seeing, and asking yourself the harder questions of what is the truth of this situation? What is the truth of it? And always coming back to that space of love for yourself, and then love for the other person, and knowing and understanding that that person is doing the best that they can in that moment, the best that they know how in that moment. And as am I, always. Like, I don't, like Laura has said over and over, I don't know what I don't know. It's
Amen.
I don't know what I don't know, and until sometimes it takes somebody else pointing it out. But thank God for that. Thank God for these friendships and these communities that we've built. Not just the four of us, but there are so many others, so many different relationships to help us see that again, and come back to that recognition that in our wholeness, recognition of our wholeness.
It's so important to have somebody that can help you see yourself. I always feel like we're acting as mirrors for each other. And as soon as you enter in any kind of relationship with another person, whether it's a casual 5 minute at the checkout, or whether it's a deep conversation, there's always that moment where you have an opportunity right in front of you to mirror. Somebody will mirror back. So if you come at somebody with a bad mood or severe self-judgment, you're not going to be met on the other side with love. If it's somebody that loves you and wants to help raise you up, they might lovingly help point you out. And if you are in that safe relationship, and you can hear it. So Maria catches me all the time when I get stuck in my own story, or if I get stuck in my habit of consciousness where I lower my frequency because I'm thinking about health issues or repeated pattern, and she can help remind you, oh, you're stuck in that. You're retelling that story again, and that's not happening right now. That's not what your truth is right now. And so, helping you discern what really is true for me and what was something that happened. Very different things. It's something that
Can you say that
happened to me.
again slower? Can you say that again slower?
Well, I'll try to. Um, it can be very hard when you are in your own story to discern the difference between something that has happened to you versus what is your truth. So if you get stuck in your own thoughts or your own worries or your own concern of something that has happened to you, that 9 times out of 10 is not happening in this present moment. But when you go back into it through retelling it or through expressing it in that moment, it is true because you are saying it. It's coming out of your mouth. It is your truth. But so if you have someone that you care about, and we're creating this space for everybody watching to help mirror your truth back to you. The truth is that you are all divine, you're all love, we're all connected with each other. And the less we see ourselves, the less we separate ourselves from that by retelling these bad stories about ourselves, the more we're going to stay connected and stay in that higher frequency and stay loving and generous and thoughtful and caring with each other. And even with the person who cuts you off from traffic, let's use that example. If you're not from Charlotte, come and take a drive on the interstate and you'll see what I mean. So even loving that person.
Yeah. I think it's important here also to recognize where the vibration of truth, and I know we've talked about this before, but there is, like you said, with love, there's the emotion of love, and then there is love, like all love, divine love, like the
There's no
the
opposite.
wholeness of love, right? The no opposite, right? But with truth, there's a similar thing, right? There is a vibration of truth with a capital T, and just my truth in that moment. Where, if you think about it, people, you might see somebody and you're like, oh, they always speak their mind. They're always speaking their mind. I'm so envious of that. But speaking your mind and being able to remind somebody else of their truth are sometimes two totally different things, depending on where that vibration is, where your vibration is when you're speaking. So if you're coming from a place of anger and you're just letting people know where you are or what you're thinking, that vibration feels totally different than if you're moving to your heart and speaking with compassion and with love. And not only does it feel different, but people receive it differently, receive those words differently. Like Laura and Wendy, you're saying how, I might remind you of your truth, but I'm never reminding you from a place of judgment. I'm always reminding you from a place of love. And because I'm able to move into my heart before I speak, it's received. It's received from you or from anybody, knowing that it's not judgment. Whereas if I'm angry and I'm speaking my truth in that moment, or if I'm in judgment and I'm speaking, that's received totally differently. Obviously, it is, people get defensive or they get angry right back, or it is a mirror, like Wendy said, it's a mirror of where you're coming from, and that, I think all of it is a little bit tricky. You have to be extremely mindful of yourself and your own energy and where you're coming from, before you speak.
And I
And
always say that word
yeah.
from is the key, right? Because what we started with was going into our heart, and all of the words that we're sharing, the vibrations that we represent, we have to come from it. We have to be in our heart, coming from love, being fully present in the moment, not carrying baggage from, well, you said back then and you've always done, right? That's not being fully present. And then, the truth, as you said, Maria, is being in your truth. Well, this is how it feels to me. This is, what I see, and this is what I know of you. That's not the truth of you. Your loving kindness or whatever. But that key is remembering to go within and coming from.
And I think that inner practitioner that I believe all of us are, not just technically, but I think we all have that, we're in our heads all day long. I think that that inner practitioner piece is where and this is something I'm just going to be real frank, I've had to work on this a lot, where was interesting because the love is what I connect with the most. And it's where if I feel in my ego or my heart or old triggers or trauma, it's also where I hurt the most. Mm-hmm. I think we all probably, I don't want to speak for everyone else, but I know that I find it interesting that love was what I talk about a lot, because it's also if I'm not in harmony with myself, which is, it's okay, it happens. That's where I get really deeply hurt if I feel I'm not loving myself, or I'm putting my external need of something on love outside. So I think that's really interesting. And I also think too, the inner practitioner in all of us, but I do think it's practicing it with ourselves first, because I do think there's a time and place to get all that crap out. Like I think, getting all that stuff out. Everybody's laughing because everybody knows I've done it.
All done it.
There's a lot of us, and I don't want to speak for everyone, and I can just speak for a little girl. And I had a very loving family, little girl in the South back. So I'm 51, so I was born in 74. So, different generations go through different things. But a voice for a little girl, like I didn't have one. I was interpreting that I shouldn't have one at times either out there in the world. And so I went through, I love Newton's third law of motion. I think I stole this from Oprah. So I'm going to say that right now. But years and years ago. But I think she took it from somebody else too. So it's just, let's just say it's universal. But Newton's third law of motion talks about every action has an opposite equal reaction, right? In energy. Mm-hmm. So I think for me, when I was a little girl, and I'm saying this out of grace for everything we're talking about, because this is the goal, right? This is really, it's not even a goal. It's just remembering our truth to get back to these vibrations. And you can probably tell the little spiritual counselor in me come out. When I was a little girl and I didn't have a little voice, I know. Sorry, I don't mean to be distracted. When I was a little girl and didn't feel like I had a voice, so that's suppression. So there was a time when I probably around 18, 19, college age, and I would have told you I had really good reason to be pissed. Oops, was that a dirty word? Be mad. Little Southern girl, I can hear my mama saying, don't say that. But when that suppression happened, and then I'm like getting fired up. Well, I think there was a time and place. I think I needed to do Newton's third law of motion. I think it was part of my growth. I think I needed to be angry. I think I needed to get things out. I needed to hear myself have a voice and have an opinion. And for me, and I frankly see this for a lot of people, depending on where we are in our evolution and just our journey in general, I think if you've been suppressed, I think the opposite and to the extreme sometimes needs to happen, or, it does happen. And so what do we do with that? And again, I'm grateful for, even though I'm not necessarily proud of all the things I may have said or done, and I was angry and mad and judging, you are wrong. This is just black and white. You are wrong. But I believe after that, I'm like, my voice matters. And then I recognize this is not peaceful either. I'm angry. And I'm grateful that I was able to find my voice somewhat through this, but I'm angry and this is not working for me either. So that's when I became a student of, frankly, peace. And I began to seek out mentors and people that I'm like, I like the way they walk in the world. I feel around them. I know they've been through, and I am going to curse, hell and back at different times in their life, but they're authentic. They're not faking it. They're authentically living this, and I want to know why and how. And so, as I've been looking at the time and thinking we're going to conclude here in a moment, ladies, I think maybe final thoughts about this is like, okay, so going back to that inner practitioner, when I see someone else that's been suppressed and they're angry, I'm not going to judge it, number one. And then as a practitioner that we all are, I want to help them find their inner practitioner and give them self-grace, love the hate inside, which sounds very strange, I know, but again, the vibration of love, the frequency of love, not judging yourself, forgiving yourself. So, because we're painting this really beautiful picture, which is true, and I believe we all live it, and we believe in it. But to get to the reality, the practical side of it is it's not pretty all the time, and that's okay. And part of this community that all four of us offer is the grace and the understanding, and like, I get it, but it is for us until you can see it for yourself, that even if you're angry or suppressed, you are loved. You are loved. You always have been. You always will be. This doesn't change anything. You could say or do anything, and your truth, the capital T truth, is always who you are. Mm-hmm. So I want to say that. I just want to bring it back to a little bit of a practical piece. Is that okay?
Yeah, and I know that we're trying to keep under a certain time, but I feel like this kind of has to be said. But yes, speaking from a place of love is the ultimate goal, right? But what you said just now is very, very true, in that, like, what I saw as you were speaking is like this clogged drain, right? And so you've kept yourself from speaking, you've kept yourself from speaking, you've kept yourself from speaking. It's creating this clog in the drain of your body, in your energetic body. And so sometimes it just has to be pushed to get out, to clear that energy channel. And I know it sounds weird, but like you said, sometimes you just need to get it off your chest. You need to scream it. You need to get angry. You need to get it out. Otherwise, you're just creating this complete block here, and you'll never. That's when health problems happen, quite frankly. But keeping it all in isn't healthy. But then finding the people where you can express it and you can get it out, or a safe place to do that on your own, whatever it might be. And then having that support network of people who are like, okay, how do you feel now? And then can help you get back to that center, get back to remembering who you are, to feeling that love for yourself and for others. And it's such a process, but you're right, you can't just keep it all in. It's not realistic to think that always love is what's going to come out of my mouth. It's hopeful, but it's not realistic for any of us, really. Yeah.
And I just, the four of us have done a lot of reflection over many years, and we've been in the community, we've been doing this for a while, and then many of you watching the same, so But I'm curious, Laura, what you think about this, kind of circling back, and then we'll look at the conclusion here. But to me, what we're talking about goes back to what you were saying at the beginning, is some part of that clogging is what you were talking about, where we doing the best we can with what we got, but where that external, our value and our worth, is this external stuff, right? And that's where some of that clogging, and then you may have childhood, anyway, I'm curious what you think about that, going back to what you said at the beginning, because I think it's all interconnected.
I'm like, back to what beginning? But
when you were talking about the finding your worth outside of you.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So coming back to within, right? And so going all the way back to the beginning and realizing where you said, there's no judgment about what we've learned when we've learned it, where we figured ourselves out. That's part of our human experience.
Right.
We came to be human. We came to have experiences and learn and grow. And the joy is recognizing, oh, wait, I am more than this physical body. And what is it like to know I am whole and complete as
Right.
me, and I'm meant to go within. That's what I heard from you in our first few conversations, Laura. It was always go within, get into your heart, tap into the love and the presence and the feeling, because I've lived my life in my head and not known how to tap into my heart. And it's going, okay, I am human and I'm going to human. And now I have tools to remind myself, go within, pause. My favorite, we hear it everywhere in different connotations, but the power of the pause.
Yeah.
It's, oh, wait a second. Like I just reacted, or what happened, and or whatever is going on. It's like the power of the pause. Like I'm getting up and I'm going through my day. Like, wait a second, Laura, just pause, take a breath, right? When we take a breath, we're reconnecting to the body. We're getting out of our head, that power of the pause, and tapping back into the wisdom of our heart, our soul. And it pulls all of it in because I'm reconnecting to me. I'm being present in the moment, present with me, and feeling the love and feeling the joy. And okay, so what's the truth in this scenario? I love the expression, the isness of life, right? Life is, it just is. But we decide, is it good or is it bad, right? That
Right.
judge,
We put a judgment.
we
Hmm.
put a judgment on everything, ourselves first, others, and then the circumstances. And so bringing it all together, what we're all wanting to share with everyone listening, getting our message out in the world, is how powerful these four are, simply by pausing, being present, tap into the love, looking for the truth. And from that place of it's freeing, right? That's where the joy comes out. The joy bubbles out because I'm being me, I'm being authentic, and I'm not judging a situation, myself, or anyone else. Just, oh, it just is. And so before I circle back around to each one for a closing thought, just wanted to let everyone know this is our first episode, our first show. We intend to be here every Wednesday at 4 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Eastern, with four of us, three of us, two of us, with guests. We don't know. We're just going to let it unfold and have the conversations of how do you bring love, truth, presence, and joy into this life scenario, and what are some tools, and when I'm triggered, and so it's just going to unfold. So one more thing I want to say about Laura, Maria, and Wendy is they're part of a collective there in North Carolina, and they do events in person. They are growing pods online, so it doesn't matter where you are, you can tap in. Um, if you're curious and you want to learn more, their information is info@vistaraschool.com. The website is vistaraschool.com, and you can learn more about what they're doing. If you're interested in tapping in and meeting me, mine is info@radiantjoycoaching.com. And we invite your comments in the future, questions. We love to interact. And I did want to share with everybody that we did have a blessing from Southern California. Somebody was joining us. So thanks so
Woohoo!
much for
Yay.
being here. So wrapping us up, we still have a couple of minutes before the top of the hour, but just in closing, if each one of you would share final thoughts before we sign off for the evening. And let's see, Wendy, would you start us off, please?
Well, that makes me come right into presence because I don't have any final thoughts in my head. So that's, and that's okay. I've just been listening and absorbing and enjoying being here. And I am just reminded, even that single breath, it takes you right back into the body, takes you right back into the self. And if that's all you can do in a day, to remind yourself of what presence is. It doesn't have to be a 20-minute meditation. It doesn't have to be holding a yoga pose. It doesn't have to look performative in any way. Even within our own mindfulness practices, we can get too judging on ourselves, especially if we fall out of those practices. But I'm here to remind people that we are cyclical beings. We are also part of nature. We ebb and flow as well. And so be gentle with yourself if you feel like you've not meditated and you haven't journaled today or you haven't done it for a week. It's okay. Maybe you're not meant to journal today. Maybe you're just meant to take a deep breath and let it out and be okay with that.
Yeah, thank you. Maria?
Oh, geez. Well, I'm present too. Yeah, no, I agree with Wendy 100%. I think when in my practice, the thing that most people, when they're first starting out and or coming for an energy treatment or whatever, they judge their own practice so much, and that is the same advice that I give to them over and over and over again. It's even if you have 1 minute, 60 seconds to just be present and focus on your breath. Where does your attention go to when you're breathing? It's to your heart center, right? Even if you're just noticing on the exhale and the rise and the fall of your chest, you're bringing all of your attention to your heart center. And that might be all you need to start the day. I mean, on those days when I'm running behind or I'm busy and I can't sit down and meditate in the morning or do my reading or my journaling or whatever it is that I love to do in the mornings. Even if I have a minute to just breathe and get back to my heart, and start my day from that space, I feel a million times better throughout the day. A million. Yeah. And we have to breathe anyway, so why not notice it?
Why not?
Make it useful.
Make it useful. Yeah.
Oh my. I guess it's my turn. I'm not going to say much more than, I think that's beautifully said. I think the one thing I'd probably end with is not more to remember that you really were born enough, not just enough, all. You were born love, and it really is the secret truth of who you are. And feedback is feedback. We can get negative and positive feedback, and that's some human experience. That has nothing to do with your worth. Nothing. You're worthy because you were born. You're worthy because you're here. You are a co-creator in the divine. You are the divine. It is in you. And so to begin to be like, I really am love. I really am loved. And to really just, it's life-changing. So I feel. And thank you. And gratitude for Laura and Robert and this platform. They've worked so hard to do, and we are one of many people that we get to benefit from their love and their service to a greater community, and that is pretty phenomenal. So thank you.
Yeah. Join us again here next week on New Thought Media Network. It's all love. Bye. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network. Come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.